Welcome to the Will to Win show. Today, we're going to be talking about dating and relationships. Previously, we had spoken about the importance of friendships, but today, we're going to get stuck right into how to build relationships, or more importantly, how you can find the love of your life.
Well, this is a very interesting topic to talk about, Steve, as we all know how great Sydney's dating culture is. So can't wait to dive a bit more deeper into this.
Nor can I. I think a lot of people have their struggles and challenges when it comes to meeting someone, trying to find the right person. And yeah, there's so many variables that you've got to consider and try and ensure that they align. And that is a process in itself. So what have your experiences in the dating game been like?
We discussed about how we want some quality people in our life when it comes to friendships. So the same thing goes for dating as well. It's been a hit and miss. So sometimes you do meet great people in your life, but the constant challenge that I see is lack of consistency. So you meet someone amazing, you see them once or twice, or maybe for a week or two, and then it just fizzles out. Do you find that you have the similar challenge from a guy's perspective?
Let me think about that. I would say that I maybe go on a date or two and then you realize that maybe you don't connect, maybe there's some points of difference and maybe they're not the right person for you. I mean, lately I haven't honestly had much luck. I try not to put too much effort into it these days and just be myself and enjoy life. But yeah, what I like about a relationship is finding someone who is loyal, who is responsible, who is independent, who is authentic, who tells the truth, and they build you up. They're encouraging. They see you for who you are, and they don't put on a show. They don't try and pretend that they're someone they're not. They just be who they are.
Yeah, authenticity is something that you are really attracted to. The
Definitely.
you get, yeah. So would be a no-go for myself as well. You just want to be your full wholesome self with the people that you actually meet. And would you say that, I understand that you mentioned that you're just happy being yourself, but in your previous dating experience, have you felt that when you talked about the right person, has it been very challenging for you to meet that people who fits that criteria of the right person in your mind?
It's been extremely difficult now. I have pretty high standards,
Right.
and maybe they're too high, I don't know, but I just can't find anyone who's on the same level. Well, I try, and I feel like maybe I need to lower my standards a little bit, or maybe I'm aiming too high. I don't know. I just don't have, like, I got a lot of female friends, but I don't have anyone in particular. I'm like, that's it. They're the one kind of thing. Yeah.
For you, yes. It's good to know from a guy's perspective as well that there are challenges both ways. And given the current dating environment, I find, where do you meet these people nowadays? At work, it's hard. Anyways, you don't want to go and date someone that you work with because it becomes very complex. Then you, outside of work, especially when you're so focused, you have your own podcast and you have your work and your fitness routine, you see your friends. So out of that, where do you find that possibilities to meet these kind of people? When you were younger, at least when I was younger, when you go to a bar, you can meet someone, but then does it go anywhere? It's very hard, I think.
It can be, and often a lot of guys in particular, when they go to a bar, they're often just looking for a one night stand or just an experience for their own self-gain, for their own pleasure, rather than a long-term or a relationship, one that they want to develop and hopefully lead to something more. I mean, I'm not saying every guy is like that. There are guys who do go to bars who actually want to meet a woman who they want to be with and not just sleep with. So yeah, I think it's the person, it's how they see the situation. If you're in a season of, I just want to have fun, I just want to party, I just want to be wild, well, then you're probably not looking for something serious. But if you're in a season where, hey, I want to be more settled, I want to have a life where I can be with someone who will support me and I'll support them and we'll grow together. And yeah, that requires a commitment. And if you want to find someone who wants to be committed, well, then you've got to be on the lookout for someone who has that kind of mentality.
Yeah, exactly. You need to have the other person on the same wavelength as you. Sometimes you can have a different personality, which is still sometimes all right, but if you have similar vision towards your life, where you are heading, and similar phase of your life, that I want to build something with someone amazing, that is very important. So what are your red flags that you are like, oh, these are the women that you will not date in your life?
Well, I don't want to be with someone who smokes or vapes, who has any kind of addiction. And I'm not being judgmental here, but I don't want to be with someone who, say, for example, has really bad mental health issues. Look, if you can get the help and address the problem and make a recovery, maybe. But yeah, I want someone who really has their life together, who's independent, who is in control of their lives, and someone who's smart, wise, and really got a positive energy and knows how to have a good time and just live a balanced life.
Wow, Steve, that's a great list.
I mean, I've got an extensive list, but I don't know whether I should include that in today's episode. What do you reckon?
I think we're still going to be talking for another 20, 30 minutes if we will get that list.
Look, the phone is it's out of reach, so maybe not today.
Close. Yeah, no, not today, not the day. Yeah, but it's important. I think there are, even for myself personally, the core values, I want that to be aligned with that person. And for me, the core values is obviously the one thing that you mentioned, addiction. I personally am not addicted to anything. So I think I would want someone who has the similar lifestyle as me in that sense. Because that also reflects a lot on their life, that they are mentally stable if they are not using anything, and if they are in control, it means they are mentally strong. So that's something that I look for. Someone who loves their family, I think that's very important for me.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think fitness is very vital for me, and I think if someone is very active and have an active lifestyle and they want to be out and about and try different things, and even if, I mean, I'm very grateful for all the travels that I've done in the past, but I'm not wanting someone who has been to the same places and have done the similar things. But if they're passionate about something, that really interests me a lot. And growing up, I was quite nerdy, so I really value intelligence. So if someone is intelligent, but then at the same time they are kind and humble, I think that just makes it really like something that I would not want to let go away from my life. So if someone have these 5 core values of being family oriented, being active, being open-minded, and being smart, but at the same time humble, I think that's all. I think personally that's what I look for, but it's so hard to find that in one person sometimes. Do you find that?
It can be. And I also agree with finding someone who values their health. And that means staying fit. It means looking after their body, nurturing their body, and not abusing it. That's very important to me.
Yeah.
Someone who also has a bit of ambition, who is motivated, who's not lazy, who is able to manage their emotions, and when there's a major problem or any kind of problem, that we wouldn't bury it under the carpet. We'd actually address the problem and work through it together. And it's important to be able to work through your problems, but it's also true that if you don't have problems in a relationship, well, then something's also wrong. So it's finding that balance between the peace and also the problems that come in between that relationship.
Exactly. And the one thing that I recently learned is that there can be someone who can be perfect on papers, like your dream person, but how they make you feel. Do you feel safe around them? Do you feel comfortable and not in that emotional clash of, oh, can I trust this person? Is this person loyal? So that feeling of being safe around that person can be a really big game changer, because they might not have everything that you want, but if you feel accepted, if you feel loved, you will not worry about a couple of other aspects. Maybe
you'll accept the points of difference. And honestly, it's not healthy to be in a relationship where you both have exactly the same interests, where you're going to get fed up with each other if you're always doing the same things. You need to have the things that you do together, but you also need to have your own things that you do separately from your partner. And that's just really important. And look, it's also good to have similar values, and because if their values don't align, that could cause some friction in the relationship.
Exactly.
But also being able to make compromises on certain things so that it's a win for each person in the relationship. Because there are going to be things, especially when you live with someone, you're going to discover things about them that you didn't know about them that are going to annoy the hell out of you. You're going to, my God, why didn't I find out about this when I first started dating you, and now you're telling me, or now you're doing this?
Or now I observe this.
Yeah.
So it's funny that you said that, because one thing that is, can be a kind of deal breaker for me personally is someone who's not clean. Like if they don't keep their surroundings clean, that can really get to me. And or sometimes if someone snores, that's still annoying. It's annoying.
Because what happens if you end up with someone who snores?
Yeah.
You both sleep in separate beds.
Yeah.
Or rooms.
Yeah. And do you find that the older that you get, because you are so clear on what you want in that person, so what's the best way for people our age or our similar situation? How do they meet the right pool of people? Is that dating apps, or is that just going out, or what's the best way? Because you grew up in Sydney, the city, very well. So what's the best advice that you can give from your own experience?
Yeah, I think you need to put yourself in various social situations, not limit yourself to just one social environment. And that could mean events such as networking, could be social networking, could be business networking, could be spiritual networking.
Okay.
It could be exercise, it could be walks, it could be the gym, it could be dancing, it could be clubbing. I wouldn't encourage that one, but some people get lucky in the club. Not me. I'm not much of a club. I don't honestly, I don't like approaching women at a bar. It's not my thing. I want to meet someone just in everyday life. So also friends of friends, people who are already within your network as well.
Yeah.
Speed dating is good for meeting people. You may not end up with someone straight away, but you might see them again somewhere else, and then you might click. You never know. So yeah, I think there's a lot of options, but you just got to explore. It could be a boat cruise. I'm going on a boat cruise on tomorrow, I believe, to celebrate Australia Day. I could meet the love of my life. You never know.
You meet the right person when you expect the least. So you never know. You might come back with another.
No, I think I'm overanalyzing, or maybe I will. Anyhow, I think it's just to keep an open mind. And the biggest mistake I know you can make for a guy is to put all your hope in one woman. I mean, it's different if you both like each other, you would be focused on that person, but until for sure, you need to keep your options open. You need to keep an open mind, and you don't want to be too pushy. You don't want to be constantly contacting them, making them feel uncomfortable. You don't want to be doing that.
That's actually very vital piece of info. And for I've seen people can act very differently in the initial phase of dating, because you don't know who you are speaking to and how they are. So, and some people can take longer to really open up about their plans or future plans, or even about themselves in general, because we all have different personalities. So how do you make sure that you're actually dating the right person? So what are the green flags that you will look for in that person, that, okay, I think that this is heading in the right direction, but then this is also the right person for you? Because in the beginning, everything seems beautiful, right? Everything is beautiful, roses and the flowery and romantic and everything. But then after a couple of dates, you really start to uncover issues that you really haven't thought of. And even when you mentioned that when you live with someone, that's the time where you really discover that.
You do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, there are going to be things that you discover that you may not appeal to you. And it's, would you be able to live with that? Is it a deal breaker, or is it something that you can reach a compromise on? So yeah, that's like, for example, I mean, this is always a touchy subject. Does the woman want kids, and does the man want kids? Or one partner might want a family, the other may not. So that's a very complicated issue in itself. It could be that one person, they want to be able to live a life where they still get to party and do whatever they want. They don't want to settle down and commit fully. Yeah, do you want to be someone who's going to be there for that person, or someone who's just going to do your own thing?
Right.
But going back to the thing about living with someone, I'll say this. You don't know whether you can truly be with someone until after you've lived with them.
Right.
And a lot of people find out that they can't live with someone when they live with them. Right. And then all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, I think that's the really important phase of your life, where you're discovering about someone's habits, and then, as you mentioned, the little things can annoy you, and how patient you are. And I think that's where I think the core values are so important, like someone being kind and patient. Because when you go through the phase of discovering about someone, but then down the lane, a couple of years later, you kind of know so much about this person. So how do you keep that momentum going and the romance going? So I think that's where being patient and if they are nice people, and if they have that growth mindset, that's important, because they will always want to try and do different things and maybe go travel with you, or maybe learn a new skill set with you, or they will be, let's build a business together. I don't know. I think that's where having high standards is hard, but then at the same point in time, it is the right thing for myself personally, because the kind of issues that you can run into later on. So that's also not going to be healthy, that where you spend, say, 6 months or 2 years with someone and then you eventually break up. So
yeah, it's not a good feeling.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling as well. So yeah, if you have high standards, Steve, yourself, I think you should keep them up as it is, and the right person will pop up out of nowhere, I guess.
Yes, certainly.
Yeah. Or you'll create one for yourself. Yeah. With the AI, I think anything is possible.
Yeah, look, I could create an AI robot to have as my my future wife.
Yeah, maybe you can, because if you actually chat to AI and ask about any advice.
Well, I have a friend who's created a robot dog.
Oh, really?
Okay. And it can read. It can actually predict the future about what that's going to happen with AI.
Wow.
Well, it did a little bit of a prediction.
Right. Yeah. No, I think I would want a real man. No, I don't need an AI.
Yeah, no, I think we've gone on a bit of a tangent now. I would honestly like a real human being to be my future.
Yeah.
Future.
Yeah.
Wife, wife is a heavy word. Oh.
Yeah, I would definitely need that nurturing from that person. So
Yeah.
yeah, even if someone, yes, the smartness is really important. That's great.
Likewise.
Yeah.
I honestly would like someone who is smart. They don't
Mm.
have to be a doctor, or they don't need to be a lecturer, but someone who's has a lot of great, I guess, understanding about life in general and how to deal with it. That would be very attractive.
Yeah, emotional intelligence is becoming important day by day, because there are some like cues that you might not be able to express to the other person, and especially in the beginning, there's so much you don't know the person, and then you're not very expressive. For instance, you're not communicating things in the beginning, so that's where you just have to be a bit more emotionally intelligent to be able to understand how I can actually go with flow with this person. Definitely. So you need that quite a lot. And
so would you say that you would need to understand each other's love languages?
Yes, I think that is important. That's quite important for the guy and the girl, and the guy and the guy and the girl to understand each other's love languages. So speaking of that, what is your love language, Steve?
Yeah, so the two main ones for me are words of affirmation and physical touch.
Okay, yeah, that's beautiful. So for me personally, it is acts of service, because I've led quite an independent life, so it's hard for me to let people in sometimes. But when someone does something for me, even if I have not asked them to do, I think that's just really builds up with me, and I'm like, wow, that's beautiful. Yeah. And then second would be quality time, because with social media now, I think we're just chatting with people here and there, but getting to know someone, you really need to spend time with each other. Yeah, I think physical touch obviously comes with the time that you spend with that person.
Definitely.
Yeah, so these two are quite important. And what is it that you, if knowing the Sydney's dating culture, what is it something that you would want to change in today's era, 2025? Everything's online, there's social media, there's dating apps, there is...
Well, I think that a lot of most women are just really spoiled for choice, and they don't always know which guy to date, so they're questioning, oh, should I go with this guy or that guy? He's got this quality, that quality. Yeah. Maybe I should see him, but then this other guy's got these qualities, and they talk to all their female friends and get their opinion, and like, oh no, not that guy, no, I go with that guy. It's like, yeah, I think a lot of women find it really hard to make up their mind these days, because they've just got small guys, such a large, especially the really attractive ones, have a really large pool of guys who would all be happy to date them, but they can't all date them.
No. Yeah, so that's true, but you might have a really big dating pool, but then you don't have really good quality men or consistent men, because you are always like, yeah, you do see a little bit of you see a lot of flakiness, because guys message you for a little bit and then they stop messaging you, and then they message you back a couple of weeks later, but you don't want that in your life too. So I wish there was more consistency, and there was more communication, and the more real life interactions, because if you are chatting to someone, say online, if you don't spend time with them, if you don't meet them, it's nothing. You're just building things in your mind, so that's not going anywhere. So I do find that I wish, if one thing that I could really change is, I wish there were no dating apps. The only way to meet people
I hate dating apps. I would never recommend a dating app. I better to meet people in person.
I wish there were like places like cafes where only single people can go, 30 to 40 years old, and you just go there on specific days. Sundays there's an event, and then they're like, okay, there are people from this age group, quality, wholesome people who wants to build something in their life, because with the online trends, people can say a lot of things to you online which can really affect your mental health as well, which is not great.